श्री ज्ञानेश्वरी। श्री गणेशाय नमः। श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्री गोपालकृष्णाय नमः। Chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, continued. Shloka number 21. He who knows the self to be indestructible, unborn, eternal, and immutable, how can such a person, O Partha, kill anyone or have anyone killed? What we see in a dream, we think that true in sleep. But when we wake up, nothing that we saw in sleep lasts. Likewise, all this is an illusion, and you are unnecessarily confused. Just as when you strike the shadow of a person, you do not hit his body. Or if you break an earthen jar filled with water, the sun's reflection in it disappears, but the sun is not destroyed with it. Or even if the monastery is pulled down, the space inside, which is of the same form, remains intact in its original form. Likewise, even if the body is destroyed, the self does not perish. Therefore, O friend, do not be deluded by mere appearance. 22. As a person casts off worn out clothes and takes on new clothes, even so, the self discards worn out bodies and enters into new ones. 23. Weapons do not cleave him, nor does the fire burn him. The water does not wet him, nor does the wind parch him. 24. He cannot be cut, burnt, or made wet or dry. He is eternal, all-pervading, stable, unmoving, and constant. The self is beginningless and everlasting, without limiting conditions and pure, so he cannot be cut by weapons, etc. He is not drenched in the water of the deluge, not burnt by fire, nor parched by the wind. So Arjun, the self should be realized as eternal, unmoving, and constant, existing everywhere at all times and perfect. 25. He is said to be unmanifest, incomprehensible, and changeless. Therefore, knowing him as such, you should not grieve. He is not comprehended by reason, O Arjun. Meditation is ever yearning to meet him. He is inaccessible to the mind and unattainable by any means. This Supreme Person is beyond limit. He is devoid of the three qualities and is without beginning and change. He is devoid of form but present in all forms. In this way, he is the inner controller of all beings. When you realize this, you will become free from sorrow. 26. And even if you think him to be constantly born and constantly dying, for him you should not grieve. But if, not knowing thus, you think him to be perishable, even then, O Arjun, you ought not to grieve. Origination, continuity, and end form is a continuous process like the uninterrupted flow of river water. The river has an origin and it meets the sea in the end, but its flow in between appears to be continuous. Know that these three states belong to all beings and do not leave the creatures at any time. So there is nothing for you to grieve about, as this world process is naturally without beginning. Even if this does not appeal to you, you should see that every creature is subject to birth and death, which is inevitable. So there should be no cause for grief. 27. For death is certain for one who is born, and birth is certain for one that dies. Therefore you should not grieve for that which is inevitable. Whatever is born dies, and whatever dies comes to life. Thus this wheel of life revolves continuously. Just as the sun rises and sets without interruption, so birth and death are difficult to avoid. All the three worlds perish at the time of dissolution, and therefore origination and end are inevitable. If you accept this, why do you lament? Since you know it, why don't you grasp it fully? If you look at it from any angle, you will realize that there is no cause for grief. 28. Beings are unmanifest in their beginnings. They become manifest in the middle and again become unmanifest after death. So why grieve over them? All the creatures were formless before birth. They come to possess a form only after they are born. When they perish, they do not certainly enter a new form but revert to their original state. But whatever form is seen in between is like a dream. So, this world is a superimposition on the reality due to Maya. Even as water touched by the breeze takes the form of ripples, or gold worked by the goldsmith turns into ornaments, or the sky becomes covered by a layer of clouds, so all the creatures are products of Maya. Why do you weep and wail over what is not there? Think only of the immutable conscious self. By yearning for it and experiencing it, the saints discard sense objects. Hermits, on their own part, become indifferent to the worldly pleasures, and the great sages take a vow of chastity and practice austerities. 29. Someone regards him as marvelous, another speaks of him as marvelous, and yet no one knows him. Some turned their inward eye to the self and gazing at him lost sense of the world. Many others who sang his praises attained dispassion and became ever immersed in him beyond limit. Others, content to hear about him, lost consciousness of the body and became one with him through spiritual experience. Just as the currents of the rivers joins the sea and return not, even if not merged with it, so the minds of yogis who have become one with him do not attain rebirth through discriminating knowledge. 30. The self is not subject to death in anyone's body. Therefore, you should not grieve for anyone. That which exists everywhere in all the bodies and cannot be destroyed, that is the conscious self which dwells in everyone. By their very nature, all material things come to birth and die. Then why should you grieve over it? 31. Further, having regard to your duty, you should not falter. There is nothing better than a lawful war for a warrior. Even if something worse were to happen to the Kauravas or to yourself, or even if this world cycle were to come to an end now, there is still your duty which you should not renounce at any cost. Do you think that this compassion will save you? O Arjun, that your heart should melt with compassion now is improper at the time of war. If cow's milk, which is not good, is not prescribed as a part of a diet, it may work like poison to a patient suffering from enteric fever. So, if one takes a wrong step at the wrong time, one will go to ruin. So, be on your guard. Why do you worry for no reason? Attend to your duty. If you perform your duty, no blame will attach to you. If a person walks on a beaten track, he will not come to harm, nor a person who walks in daylight is likely to trip. If a person is firm in the performance of his duty, he will accomplish all his desires without effort. There is nothing more proper for warriors like you than a battle like this. 32. This war has come by chance as an open door to heaven. Happy are the warriors who come by a war like this. This war has come to you, O Arjun, by stroke of good luck. Nay, the treasure of all righteousness has appeared in that form. How can you call it a war? Your heroism has brought down the heaven in the form of this war. Or having heard the world praise your virtues, renown has come to choose its mate with intense love. When a warrior earns great merit, he comes by a war like this. Even as a person, while walking, comes across the philosopher's stone, or a person while yawning, suddenly finds the nectar drops have fallen into his mouth, so this war has come to you as your best opportunity. With this we complete part 3 of chapter 2. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Hari Om.